I first heard about crown whales when a friend of mine who worked in the fruit market told me about the lake. He said that he'd caught a 37 pounder from there, which was the Parrot, 12 years ago. And he said that it was a lovely lake, and the people there that fished it were really nice. There's lovely surroundings and that. And we should put our names on the waiting list. And I was fishing with my mate Roy Allen that didn't pass us at the time. And so we put our names on the waiting list, and it took us 7 years to get in. And in the meantime, the Parrot was growing about £5 a season. So by the time we got in, the fish was nearly 60 pounds. So it was great. And it took me three seasons to catch it. Started catching fish from the word go. It was there's a lot of fish in there, so it wasn't like you were just fishing for 1 or 2 fish. It was quite a prolific venue, and it had. Some people say there's 300 fish in there, 150. I think it's somewhere in between, really. There are a lot of fish in there, which makes catching the Parrot a bit harder, really, because you've got to wade through all the others. When I did eventually catch the Parrot, it was number 87, so did have to catch a few fish before I caught it. But it's not just about a Parrot. There's some lovely fish in there. There's a floppy-tailed linear and a big common, and yeah, it's all there's some great fishing in there. And yeah, the day that I caught it, January the 13th, which is unlucky for some, not for me. I turned up with to see who was there, and I'd seen some fish the week before in this swim called No Name, and I hadn't caught anything, but I'd seen fish there and they hadn't been seen anywhere else. There's a few people fishing the other end of the lake said they'd seen nothing. But when I turned up there, the bailiff was in the swim. So I stood there talking to the bailiff, and while I was talking to him, the bailiff, Lee, to the right of him, I'd seen a fish crash out by the island, and then I saw another fish on the shallows just stick its head out. So I thought, that's got to be worth a shout. So I said to Lee I was just going to move up from him. He'd seen fish in front of him that day as well, and it's all a big area, shallow water, and it went right up to all that end of the lake. So I fished about 3 swims up from Lee where I'd seen these fish, and put one rod out at 50 yards and then the other 2 out towards the island, and I was setting the bivvy up and put the bed chair in there. Lee came down for a cup of tea. He'd only been there 5 minutes, and Lee just said, your rod's just knocked. And with that the bobbin pulled up tight, and I struck into the fish, which immediately I thought was small. It was coming straight towards me, didn't feel very big at all. Then I saw a tail come out of the water. Well, the Parrot does that every time. I mean, it's 41 inches long, and you're fishing in 4 foot of water, so it's you know. And now I've been told that, so that made my knees go a little bit. And then when it came closer in, it dived into. First of all, it kited to the right, and I had to get in the water with the waders and give some side strain, stop it going around there. Then it just felt a dead weight, and I thought, this is heavy. I might have a lump of weed with it or something. And then it dived into the bottom of the weed, all these bubbles coming. I thought, well, it does that as well. So I'm thinking now, well, seeing its tail, it dived into the weed, all these bubbles have come up. And I've looked at Lee and I said, this could be the Parrot. And anyway, when it did come to the top, it had a big ball of weed over its head, so you couldn't see it exactly what fish it was. It went into the net, and I saw a scale on its side, and I said to Lee, this is one of 2 fish. This is either the floppy tail linear, which is around about 45 pound, or it's the Parrot. And then I pulled the weed off his head, and there it was, the Parrot, over the moon. Absolutely excited. So we've got the fish in the net. I'm jumping about like a lunatic. Said to Lee, hold the net for me, will you? Because that was my target fish. That was a lake pockstuff. That was the last one I needed. As I said before, it was number 87, that fish. And I was looking forward to going fishing other waters. I've been invited to fish other waters. I normally go pike fishing in the winter. I like a bit of perch fishing. I've done none of this for the last 3 seasons because I knew I had to catch the Parrot. I had to, but every time I got a chance to go fishing, fish for the Parrot, because that fish might not be there tomorrow, and I'm only going to get one chance to fish for a fish of that size. So yeah, so a lot of emotion, running around screaming and shouting over the moon. Left Lee holding the fish in the net, Phoned my mate Roy straight away, told him, because I knew he'd be the one who'd appreciate it the most. And I said to Lee, right now we're going to have to get it out and weigh it. So I got the sling and everything ready, zeroed the sling up, and we both lifted it up and we both remarked how big it looked, because it's a big long fish anyway, so it's 41 inches long. And got it into the mat and we both sort of marvelled at its colours and that, and we'd seen it earlier in the year. I'd seen it from up a tree and had a few white patches on it, and they'd all gone. It was immaculate. It was beautiful winter colours of pinks and peachy colours, and we put it into the retention sling, got the scales. I said to Lee, you read the scales off. I had some 120-pound Reubens which went up in 2-pound divisions, so explained that to him. I said, you read it off, it's not for me to read it. I'm thinking it'd probably do 66. We've lifted the scales up with the bar over our shoulders, and he's looking at me and I'm saying to him, well, what's it reading, Lee? And he said, he's mumbling or something or other, and he's going, it's 2 pounds, it goes up in 2, you better look at this. And I said, what do you mean I better look at it? He said, no, you better look at it. He said, come round this side. So anyway, we've lifted it again and I've looked at it and I'm 68, is it? I said, Lee, that's over 68 pounds. He said, yeah, that's exactly what I'm reading. And I said, blimey, and suddenly it sunk in. That's over the record, like, you know? It's like, didn't expect that at all. So then we quickly put it back in the retention sling and did the phone calls for people to come and do some photographs, because I knew my mate Roy's a dab hand with the camera, and we did some quick snaps with Lee while it was still light, but I knew Roy would be able to get it till it was dark in an hour or so's time, and put it back in the sling, and also waited for the Ways and Estate Management to come out and weigh the fish with their official digital scales, which are the ones we've sent off to be tested by the weights and measures, which turn out they're 100% accurate, so it's all looking good at the moment. So. People say to me now, what are you going to do next now you've caught the biggest carp in the country? But I think Kevin Maddox got it right years ago when he called his book Carp Fever, because it is a fever. You think about it all the time when you're at work, especially me. I do one night a week, so every week for me, my night's fishing is like Christmas. Every week I look forward to it, I'm thinking about it, I do a bit of pre-bait in the week, and then you get your night's fishing and that, and then you're back to work and you're thinking about it again, you know, so I'll never get bored of it. A friend of mine said to me, we'd be carp fishermen if all the carp over 20 pounds died. We'd still be fishing for 15 and 17 pounds because you love carp fishing. And I just love the outdoor life and going carp fishing. So I'll always be carp fishing now. I'm going to just fish for some pretty, I like the old wrinkly black ones. I run my own syndicate, it's a nice fish in that. I'll have a dabble on that, a bit of stalking, and generally just flitting around for a bit. So it's going to be good fun. I've come out to today to do a night on my lake, and last night on the lake, and just to sort of just to get out for a night's fishing. Really, I haven't done a night's fishing since I caught the Parrot, and I don't want to go back to Cranwell's now because that spoiled the time I've had on there. So I'm coming to my own lake. I've done the night, 3 o'clock this morning. I had a lovely little fat 22 pounder, nice dark fish. A real buzz out of that because I've not caught that one before. So that's what I'm saying. You know, I just love going carp fishing, and Max has been down and taken the pictures of it, did a bit of filming of it as it went back. So hope you enjoy that, and yeah, just love my carp fishing.